Rank these three: MJ, Kobe, LeBron.
This is a hell of a debate. Now, y'all get into this all the time, and people get into this all the time. And I think Jordan is a phenomenal player, and certainly all that he has gotten, he deserves. But when you look at LeBron and what LeBron has done, even Kobe, and Kobe's a great player, phenomenal. But you look at LeBron and what he has done. LeBron has changed things in a big way. All Michael Jordan accomplished and all he's done and all he did, he couldn't get his own owner to extend them another year. Like, dude, come on, man. What are you doing? What is that? LeBron came in a different way and has done a different thing. And now LeBron has some control.
He changed the business of basketball.
Right. It's not just dribbling. His business acumen.
Oh, incredible.
One of a kind.
You got to give him some chops. I remember they were arguing that he wouldn't, when him and Kobe was in the All-Star game, right? And Kobe wanted to go one-on-one with him, one-on-one. You know, we want the alpha male to show up and take over. Alpha male, show me you got the alpha male. But that wasn't his game plan. He's like, I don't have to show up and take over. I really want to take over. So instead of beating down the top players like alpha male, he was like, no, I'm trying to partner with these guys so we can do bigger and better things. We can have more control. LeBron got way more control than Michael Jordan ever had over this whole thing.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So we started talking about GOAT. Boy, I mean, on the court, you can say, Michael Jordan was the GOAT. Of the court, you gonna say LeBron James is the GOAT. It's on the court and of the court. And LeBron of the court, because what he has done in basketball, he's the GOAT. But playing, I'll give it to Mike, no doubt.
The GOAT conversation always erupts the same way: Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and the argument usually gets louder than the facts. Fans pick sides, throw around claims, and try to reshape the past with heated debate. Then NFL icon Michael Irvin reignited the feud by saying, Michael Jordan might be the greatest on the court, but LeBron James is the greatest off it. On the surface, it sounds like a fair compromise. Jordan ruled the floor with iconic fadeaways, championship dominance, and clutch steals that ended dynasties, while LeBron built a global business network and became the face of modern player power. But that's where the narrative gets twisted. Greatness isn't something you divide into categories. The truly great stand complete. Jordan didn't just play basketball, he defined it. He never needed self-proclaimed titles, dramatic TV specials, or image engineering. His reputation was built on winning, and his statement to the world still hangs in Chicago in the form of 6 championship banners. Jordan's legacy was built on grit, dominance, and an unmatched will to conquer. And that's why every attempt to boost LeBron based on business achievements only raises a sharper question. Is that greatness or simply a different lane? Jordan didn't call up Bird, didn't seek magic, and didn't lean on a manufactured super team. He stayed with his squad, battled through every rivalry, and forced legends to fold. Barkley, Malone, Ewing, Drexler, Miller, each one left the court defeated by him. So when Irvin claimed LeBron holds the edge off the court, he accidentally highlighted the real story. LeBron's strongest claim comes only when the ball isn't in play. Because on the hardwood, where pressure, sweat, and legacy collide, the crown is already claimed. Michael Jeffrey Jordan owns that space. His dominance wasn't just stats, it was certainty. Facing him meant facing fate. 6 finals, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, and not a single collapse. When the spotlight peaked, Jordan delivered every time. LeBron's resume tells a different tale: 10 finals appearances, 4 titles, and 6 losses. Greatness isn't measured by how often you reach the stage, but by what you do when you're there. And in that arena, Jordan never missed. LeBron never matched that level of certainty, and it goes far beyond the trophy count. Jordan piled up 10 scoring crowns, 5 MVP awards, a Defensive Player of the Year, and 9 All-Defensive First-Team selections. He wasn't just an unstoppable scorer, he was a defensive terror. He could lock up your top guard, pick the pocket of your strongest forward, and then drop 40 on the opposite end without blinking. That isn't balance, that's total control. And the moments he created weren't mere highlights, they became basketball scripture. He dropped 63 on the 1986 Celtics, prompting Larry Bird to say he'd witnessed God disguised as Michael Jordan. He hit 6 threes in a half during the 92 Shrug game, stunning Portland. He powered through exhaustion in the 97 Flu game. And in 1998, His steal and game winner in Utah shut down a dynasty in a single sequence. These weren't performances, they were landmarks. Now look at LeBron's resume and ask, where are those sacred moments? Where is his 6-4-6 finals run? Where is his flawless championship record? Where's the season where he was both the league's top scorer and its most feared defender? LeBron has legendary highs, most famously the 2016 comeback against Golden State, a moment that will always stand tall. But for every peak, there's a stumble. The 2011 loss to Dallas, the 2018 sweep, and other moments where pressure swallowed the moment. Jordan never showed those cracks. That's why LeBron represents longevity, while Jordan represents perfection, and perfection doesn't fade. LeBron's influence is real. He reshaped the NBA through contract control, roster maneuvering, and business power. He became a brand, a market force, an empire of his own making. But the truth is, he needed that leverage. Jordan never did. His 6-0 finals record was leverage enough. His killer instinct was the brand. LeBron relied on narrative building. Jordan relied on results. And that reveals their mentality gap. Jordan chased domination. LeBron leans toward collaboration. Michael Irvin even pointed out the moment Kobe challenged LeBron one-on-one during an All-Star game and LeBron chose diplomacy over direct battle. That wasn't the response of a born predator. Negotiation may shape careers, but it has never defined greatness, because basketball doesn't crown deal makers. It crowns assassins who deliver when everything is on the line. LeBron undeniably transformed the business landscape of the NBA, mastering contract control, influencing rosters, and turning himself into a global mogul. But none of that ever lifted a trophy, because no contract clause can win a finals game and no business meeting can hang a banner from the rafters. Jordan controlled the place that actually matters, the court, and that's the only arena where legends are truly written. That's why the phrase Jordan is the GOAT on the court and LeBron is the GOAT off it isn't a balanced compliment, it's an unintended admission. It's quietly acknowledging that LeBron couldn't seize the throne in the one domain where legacy is forged, so a second battlefield had to be created to justify his greatness. But that new battlefield carries no historical weight. No championship was ever earned in a boardroom, no dynasty was ever ended in a conference call, and no defining memory was born from a branding strategy. Greatness is earned under bright lights, through pressure, sacrifice, and moments that bend history. In that place, where sweat becomes legacy, Jordan stands alone at the summit. Kobe understood that better than anyone. If Jordan was the storm that reshaped the league, Kobe was the lightning that followed, powerful, fierce, and cut from the same untamed energy. Not a copy, not an echo, but the purest continuation of the competitive fire Jordan embodied. Kobe didn't just watch Jordan, he absorbed him. He copied the fadeaway, mastered the footwork, and internalized the mentality that separated Jordan from the rest. The hunger to dominate, the obsession with outworking everyone, and the refusal to leave survivors on the court. Kobe even challenged LeBron to a one-on-one battle, and LeBron declined, a moment that highlighted the mentality gap. Jordan would have never walked away from that kind of challenge. Kobe lived for rivalries, never retreated from a fight, and never chose comfort over combat. His battles with Boston in 2008 and 2010, his wars with Duncan's Spurs, even his legendary 81-point eruption, all of it echoed Jordan's competitive DNA. When he lost to Boston in 2008, he didn't respond by forming a super team. He returned with the same group, sharpened them, and took back the trophy through sheer will. That is killer instinct. That's why Kobe sits closer to Jordan in the hierarchy of greatness than LeBron ever will, because Jordan and Kobe played with fear as a weapon, while LeBron too often relied on safety nets. And that's the fundamental divide, fear versus friendship. Jordan struck fear with his presence alone. His glare rattled opponents, and legends like Gary Payton, Reggie Miller, and Charles Barkley openly admitted the intimidation he created. Kobe carried that same aura. He demanded everything from his teammates and punished everything from his opponents. He treated every night like a battlefield, not a collaboration. The Mamba mentality was never just a catchy phrase. It was a fully formed philosophy built on psychological warfare, relentless preparation, and the desire to overwhelm opponents with sheer competitive force. Kobe didn't talk about fear, he weaponized it. His stare, his intensity, and his demand for excellence created an environment where opponents felt the pressure before the game even started. LeBron, for all his greatness, projects a different kind of aura. He earns admiration, applause, and respect, but not the kind of dread that kept players awake at night. You don't hear rivals describe nightmares about guarding LeBron the way they did with Jordan or Kobe. Players rave about his strength, his court vision, and his unmatched longevity, but they don't speak about the chilling feeling of being hunted by him. Jordan and Kobe were wired differently. They were killers who took pride in delivering the final blow, who shaped games with intimidation as much as talent. LeBron, in contrast, functions more like a diplomat, guiding, organizing, and elevating without tapping into that darker, more ruthless edge. And the truth is, history rarely carves diplomats into stone. It elevates those who conquer without hesitation. The proof lies in the moments that define each career. Jordan's 63-point masterpiece in Boston, his iconic shrug in '92 after torching Portland from deep, the legendary flu game where his determination eclipsed his exhaustion, and the steal-and shot in Utah that shut down a dynasty. These moments are bigger than highlights. They are mythic, eternal, and retold like scripture passed from one generation to the next. Now set those next to LeBron's most painful chapters. The stunning collapse against Dallas in 2011, the 2018 sweep at the hands of Golden State, and the 2010 walk-off against Boston that marked the end of his first Cleveland era. His greatness is undeniable, but so are the cracks. Jordan's story reads like a saga of unstoppable triumph, a record of perfection when the lights blazed brightest. LeBron's story, while filled with brilliance, is shadowed by multiple falls on the grandest stage. And that contrast defines the heart of the debate. One man built a legacy on unblemished dominance, while the other built his on endurance and longevity. Longevity is impressive, but perfection is immortal. When the game reaches its highest stakes, history has shown that perfection always rises above everything else. And that truth leads to one unmistakable conclusion: